Hello, everybody. Welcome to my hairdo. I should have looked in the mirror first. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Someday soon, I'm going to be unpacked fully, and you'll see the new digs. And I might even try to take y'all outside because it's beautifully treed here. I went to sit outside for a little bit yesterday, and the mosquitoes were outrageous. I'm at the base of the mountains of where my daughter lives on the water, and she's up the mountain. Behind me would have been where I lived before, where my other daughter is. And yeah, I'm sorry I did not show up last night. I am definitely trying to be more consistent, Corinne Danielle, but I had I still feel down today, kind of rough a little bit, not gonna lie. I had some incredible synchronicities after our Liberace members only video last night. And I'm gonna lay back if that's okay, y'all. I'm just gonna be a little bit more relaxed for a minute if that's okay. I'll read to you some of my notes, and I'm gonna eat my supper, a soup, because my stomach's a little upset with my just being feeling a little down. I get my stomach's upset, and I'm also living out of a cooler because when we moved the fridge, I had to buy appliances, and I think the coolant or something didn't settle. So my son-in-law looked at it, and I'm living out of a cooler because I had to defrost it, and it's really cold in the freezer, but not in the fridge. And the freezer is supposed to push air into the fridge, so there was ice jammed in the back of it. So I had thought also I'm living out of a cooler having soup. Anyway, I'm sorry about yesterday. I want to just give you a couple of progress notes on what I have decided, because I did say I was going to start to do several cases every night, and the reality of the amount of work that would take hit me. And so I will not be able to cover several cases every night. And I also realized I definitely want to cover Kohberger trial. And if I cover Kohberger in the day, I can't be streaming 3 hours at night. That would be 11-hour days, and that's just not going to happen. I also know that this and keeping the spiritual side of this in the members only is absolutely staying in this format where I'll delve into spiritual because that's me and it's hard not to be. And I'm about to do that now. But for all the spiritual lessons, psychic development, I've got to tell you something else that happened yesterday for those of you that are in members, all that stuff, the blueprint, um, and I don't know if Kelly you're watching from the Find Me group, but yesterday at the members, I was talking about how I found a CIA document about remote viewing that's 80 pages long, and how they suggest after all the training the CIA did with psychics, how to best study and train in remote viewing. And I want to go through that in members. And doesn't Kelly, after I get off yesterday's Liberace, send me, hey, any members want an article on remote viewing? It's like, yeah. So anyway, so that was really interesting. I also got a call because of what happened at the hospital. I really just wanted my dad brought to the funeral home. I just felt like they neglected him. I don't even get into it. I just didn't want him at the hospital anymore. They were just a horrendous. And I think I said when I spoke to the funeral home, the second one, the first one didn't even say, I'm sorry for your condolences. Funny enough, the biggest name in the city brand. I said, well, you will not be getting my dad to do his cremation. Click. And this lady was lovely. And she said, this hospital is notoriously bad. I've never experienced it before. It was the opposite end of the city. So apparently they were notoriously bad. So anyways, the call came in at 2:22 yesterday afternoon that my dad had arrived to the funeral home from the hospital. And I picked out his urn. I think I showed you yesterday morning. And then my dad came in. I tried to write his obituary for 2 days online and couldn't, and decided my dad doesn't want an obituary. And my mother, his ex-wife, already knows because my youngest daughter texted my sister and my mother that next morning. I was up in the middle of the night talking to them, and she took it upon herself. So it's not like he doesn't want her to know. I just think he doesn't want necessarily the story, and I don't want the story. So I've been to keep being about what the injustice was. I've come to that decision. I've come to that decision. And so I've been thinking a lot, and I made some pretty substantial decisions based on that. In his memory, I when I was writing the spiritual series and the underworld and all that, I think that was meant to be something I was supposed to be writing to help me in my healing. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do the spiritual side in true crime and remote viewing and forensic astrology and studying body language. But I think I also told you guys in members when I was preparing for the video, I have the vidIQ. It's like a tube buddy. It helps with keywords and stuff for titles. So if you notice, my titles are a lot more outrageous. It's regardless of whether I want to or not, it's the reality of getting people to watch your video and to get views. You got to do the YouTube algorithm game, if you will. And so vidIQ I subscribe to. And in yesterday or the day before's podcast, Nancy Drew came up, and I was like, wow, there's my dad talking to me, because my dad and I, when we were stuck in Vero Beach trying to get his home sold during the pandemic, watched the new Nancy Drew together every week. We don't get it here in Canada, and I so miss it. And my dad would laugh every week because I read every single Nancy Drew book when I was a kid. And so the main character will be me, but I'm not writing the spiritual series. The plan was always to write the spiritual series 7, and then they develop their psychic and abilities and all that stuff in this underground world experience, and then they come out and then move into the series. So the series was always going to happen like the modern day Nancy Drew meets Frankie from Grace and Frankie. If you know that character, you'll know that I'm similar in personality in some ways to her, and also similar to the Nancy Drew character for Justice and all that stuff. So the character's name will be Libby, which will be me. And it's going to be more of a series that will run on its own, like David Baldacci's books, where you can just pick one up and the character will be the same. Like Harry Potter is always the theme character, the main character. Myself will be Libby. And I will be writing each book independent of that, and the character is going to have some psychic abilities and solving crimes. And so I just don't want to discuss what happened anymore. I think now that my dad's passed, it's just not the way I want to honor him anymore. When he was alive, it was different. I was fighting as an advocate of him and justice. Now I just want to be at peace. And I was going through all the pictures, and I was telling you all that my dad had the peace sign in all of them, and the urn that I found had doves on it. It's called Peace. And I just want to get out of that storyline. I just want to leave it behind. I've lived it for 5 years. It traumatized me. That's not to say I won't do something down the road with respect to laws. I just don't want to make it public right now, if that makes sense. So the first book will be, not to completely contradict myself, but the first book will be fictional. Like, they will all be fictional, and it will be based on the story of my dad. But I don't want to run that storyline over and over and over again through a series. One book, yeah, and not all the details, and more in a way of honoring him than a spiritual healing journey, if that makes sense. This will be pure fiction, not my anger about what happened, because I'm letting that go. I have to. So that's the public service announcement. So I will start writing my first book. That means the second YouTube channel will not happen, because there's a lot of free websites that you can start to build your authorship by offering free chapters in books. And so I'm going to build myself out on that platform. And because they're true crime and there will be some spiritual element, but not all of it, then I will be building this podcast, this YouTube channel, much wider and grander versus diversing and splitting myself into 2 directions. I know I'm all over the place with this channel, but y'all, this has been a life journey for me these last 6 years, and you've lived part of it through me with the ups and downs. And now that my dad's passed on, I think the direction needs to change and my focus needs to change. And I feel good about that. So I will be promoting my books here. And so, yeah, I now have more time to do more videos here, which I need to do. I was looking at other channels that started a year ago, like I did, that are like true crime and way bigger than me, but they also I have 200 and some videos. They have like 1,200 videos in that same time frame. So if I really want to build my audience out, I got to be doing way more videos. So I'll be doing way more videos that are not lives. I'll be doing more cases. We'll be following the Koberger trial. I've got to start getting up to date on that. I have not been able to do that yet, but I feel really good about being more streamlined. And then all the psychic stuff, all the forensic astrology will be in members. Okay. And then eventually I'll develop courses and merchandise. And Kitty, you had a beautiful recommendation and I love you for it. I don't think with this craziness between the move and what happened to my dad, I've even had time to thank you yet for it. But like, y'all, if I did, crystals and I infused them with Reiki and candles and healing packages that you could order, or pendulums that I picked out for you in conjunction with your energy, that kind of stuff, I might do merchandise and t-shirts and cups down the road, just talking down the road. And you'll get discounts and members from that for that kind of stuff, the book discounts, that kind of stuff as perks. And down the road, courses. And I want to, because I've been forgetting to say this, I don't know how it works for y'all yet, but I have been given something that I've never heard another YouTuber talk about yet, that YouTube picked my channel for. And basically, we got to try it, because if I could find the email, it's basically about the fact that the community page, I can now respond to your comments. Let me know if you've seen another channel being able to do this. I can respond to your comments by leaving you a voice clip, and y'all can start attaching photos and links in the comments, apparently in the community tabs. So y'all try it out. I gotta try it out. But that's what I got from an email from YouTube like 2 weeks ago. I just have totally, hey Hope, nice to see you, sweetie. Totally forgotten to mention it. So welcome into the mods. Welcome into everybody. Let me take a minute to say hi. I'm gonna try to take a sip of soup and put my camera off so you don't have to watch me eat. We'll say hi, and then we're gonna get into, I've got some videos I want to talk about. Oh, and before I forget, I got to tell you the synchronicities I forgot. And Durwood, y'all know Durwood? He threatened me. Not threatened. That's incorrect. I restate. That's an over-exaggeration. He said I was a Looney Toony because he responded to the RCMP, the short that I did clip when I said the RCMP called me back regarding my psychic vision. He in big caps responded that I was, hang on, I'll show you. I'll tell you the synchronicity, and then I'm gonna eat. I got lots of stuff we're gonna talk about with Jack and Lily tonight. What did he, let me pull it up. Basically, Durwood's energy is presenting like somebody that would have burned the witch back in the Salem days. He's totally threatened by psychics. He don't like it. And most of all, he's been listening here. I blocked him, so I doubt he's watching now unless he's created another name. And I know he's pissed at me. And I know he's pissed that I think he's saying stuff I don't believe. But, I'm entitled to my opinion, as are all the other true crime channels. And that's why we've got all videos are for entertainment purposes only on the banner below. And in my opinion, just like you should all do in the comments, don't forget when you're making your own comments. And I also invited him up here if he wanted to say anything otherwise and prove me wrong. And instead he chose to, what a total lunar. What did he say? What a total lunar. This honker needs serious mental health. So Durwood, Durwood thinks I'm a wonker and doesn't believe in psychics, and probably his old soul in a past life bite us. soul in a past life was probably burning the witches, you know? Oh boy, Derwood. I said it before and I'll say it again. If I am wrong about Derwood, then hell yeah, I'm sorry. However, have you all heard Bella, or Sloan Bella rather? Do you know who she is? Wonker. Yeah, I'm a wonker. I'm a wonker. That's a redneck term. Derwood's a redneck. Um, I was telling you about the synchronicity, so just gonna take some bites if that's okay. Um, oh, I forgot to tell you another synchronicity that happened. Was when the funeral home asked me to get my dad's SIN number. I'm like, oh my God, I just moved. It's in a box somewhere. Like, and my dad came in a couple nights ago and I was like freaking out trying to find it. And he's like, Liane, you don't need it. You don't need it. I'm like, okay, okay, Dad. And sure enough, I didn't need it. I mean, I do need it if I want to protect his security, but I didn't need it to arrange for his cremation. And so my dad was even coming in consoling me and telling me, stop, you're stressing yourself out. You don't need it. So sorry, taking a sip. So sorry. So I know Sloan, I have listened to her, but I haven't listened to this one because I don't like to be, I know Bob is awesome. I don't like to be um influenced by other readers. But y'all, I heard that she said the same thing as me, that this was an arranged removal of the kids. I just don't know if she said the players the way I think. But I also just saw a video saying that Derwood or Daniel's mom, Janie, refused the RCMP into her trailer. Have y'all heard that? Have y'all heard that? So anybody that in here, you think Sloan is speaking of Derwood too? So y'all, should we listen to that another night and compare between my readings and what she said? Maybe that's an exercise to do. Is tonight we'll do what I planned and um maybe compare my readings and what I told the police to hers, because I don't know, just a thought. Because I think it's interesting that clearly the RCMP thought this theory was not a viable one, and they still apparently don't believe it's a viable theory, because she's more of a channeler. I don't know if she does cards, but and she's got way more followers than I do. Like I doubt she would want to work with me, but you never know. You never know. God, I picked vermicelli rice noodles to eat into your ears. How impolite of me. So sorry. Anyways, let's continue on with tonight's. But I also heard I was right that there was an argument. Remember the vision I was given of Daniel's brother? You're right, truth seeker. Remember the vision I was given of Daniel's brother coming into the kitchen and there being a fight with Malaya? Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think he's mad at me because I called him out on it. Anyways, apparently, um, a true crime, or it's a crime and shame rather. I've been doing all those interviews. I have not had time to listen to all of them, so I'm going to start going through them. I'm going to go through parts of one tonight. But Belinda, the biological father's mother, right? Jack and Lily's grandmother, has validated that there was a fight the night before that carried into the morning between Melinda and Daniel. So I'm not, so far I'm being validated in a few things that I said earlier on. So I'm just note to self on that. Note to self on that. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Okay, let's get the videos up. And I started looking a little bit into Crystal Rogers for everybody. But this one, hang on. This one, I want to talk about. I want to talk about the one I'm going to pull up last, of course, will be always the way. I want you to listen to this short one and tell me what you think. What is your opinion of this? I hear there's some controversy over when this happened, but
Murray was caught on Snapchat at the beach. Jill Moore wrote, quote, "Nothing towards my cousin, but could you imagine your kids missing and instead of helping and doing everything in your power to find them, you're on the beach happy as a clam. I am sick," end quote. The user wrote to the author who took the picture that Malaya was a scumbag who knows exactly what happened to them. Nothing like being glorious and happy while your babies are missing. To which the author replied, "We got her out for the day. She needed a day out. She definitely doesn't know, but I can't really say much till the investigation is over. But I will fill you in on it all. She is still human. She still needs to live. Being depressed at home all day crying isn't going to change anything." To which they reply, "Maybe continue to help with the search. I don't even have kids, but I have some I die for, and I wouldn't be posting myself happy as a clam on the beach. Don't let her fool you. She definitely does know. Absolutely disgusting. I am actually infuriated." Cheryl replies, "Well, don't be. No one knows what happened, so no one can judge." They reply, "LOL, you tell yourself that, Cheryl. The truth will all come out. And all of this is getting blasted. I just..."
did y'all hear this clip before? This was made by Joseph Morris. Credit to Joseph Morris, which I also learned from Sunny on It's Crime and Shame that he's also Canadian, which is cool. I didn't know. So shout out to Joseph Morris. But so listen, he read the clips. She was apparently posting this picture on Instacart, her Instagram rather, Instacart. Jesus, Liane, are you hungry much? Instagram the other day. What do you all think? I mean, she's allowed to, you can't cry. Like my daughters were saying to me a couple days ago, I think I sort of was busy with the move and things are kind of catching up to me and I'm feeling not that I wasn't sad, but you could be busy ignoring your feelings, and not dealing with them in your busyness. My daughter was like, "Mom, don't do that. I know you." Yeah, I said to her, "I know, but I'm working," and then crying and crying and crying. Like it comes on. I'm sure those of you that have lost someone dear know it. I'm like, truly, it's the closest person ever to have lost, that I've lost. And so I'm not used to like just the grief that just, it comes out of nowhere suddenly. So I'm just dealing with how I feel in the moment is what I'm trying to do. But my point being, I said to my daughter, you can't cry 24 hours a day either. Like, and this is 2 months going on her being there. See, I didn't at first, wasn't sure about the photo, but the comments to me just, support rather the fact that she was at the beach based on her friend's comments. We'll listen again. So I still look at neither one of those parents presented very much emotion when they were missing, but do they both know the kids are alive now? I understand, and me too. I get it, and me too. Me too. It took me 8 months to cut my shell somewhat after losing my son. I am so sorry. Yeah, and that's the thing. It does seem unusual. She's doesn't show a lot of emotion, you know? I'm going to go back. We'll play it one more time. It's only a minute and we're going to go into the next one. She definitely doesn't show a lot of emotion. But Daniel also looks way more relaxed in his recent interview. So do they know something we don't know? I don't know.
Jack and Lily's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, was caught on Snapchat at the beach. Jill Moore wrote, quote, "Nothing towards my cousin, but could you imagine your kids missing and instead of helping and doing everything in your power to find them, you're on the beach happy as a clam. I am sick," end quote. The user wrote to the author who took the picture that Malaya was a scumbag who knows exactly what happened to them. Nothing like being glorious and happy while your babies are missing. To which the author replied, "We got her out for the day. She needed a day out. She definitely doesn't know, but I can't really say much till the investigation is over. But I will fill you in on it all. She is still human. She still needs to live. Being depressed at home all day crying isn't going to change anything." To which they reply, "Maybe continue to help with the search. I don't even have kids, but I have some I die for, and I wouldn't be posting myself happy as a clam on the beach. Don't let her fool you. She definitely does know. Absolutely disgusting. I am actually infuriated." Cheryl replies, "Well, don't be. No one knows what happened, so no one can judge." They reply, "LOL, you tell yourself that, Cheryl. The truth will all come out. And all of this is getting blasted. I just hope those babies are safe and never in her custody again. Never." Jack and Lily's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, was caught on
I said that would be the point, if I'm right, Krista, that there was a plan. There was a plan. So let's get into another video. I would like to play. Do you find it odd? And I was a little critical of this woman, and I apologize, Belinda. But do you find it odd that she's so present now, but they were not present? This is the bio dad, not Daniel's mom, but bio dad, Jack and Lily's bio father's mother. They haven't seen the kids for 3 years. I'm glad she's coming out and speaking out. Don't get me wrong. Well, Krista, that's the point. But do they have inside knowledge? Because they seem very, very casual, both Daniel and Melinda, for the situation they're in right now. And again, I'm not trying to be critical. Bless her soul for doing this. She's raising funds, and it's a crime and shame for flyers and everything else. And somebody has to do it. And maybe that's why she is. Nobody else has stepped up to the plate. Daniel's coming on social media, but he's kind of creating a shit show with his constant shifting stories. I'm not sure that's helpful. And Malaya's on the beach and changing her Facebook profile, really saying nothing. Someone has to do it. So let's bless her soul. I also heard just a few minutes on It's a Crime and Shame that people are threatening the family members. Please, for the love of God, if anybody here ever does that, you're not welcome on my channel. I know I don't really have to say that here, but I'm just going to say it once. I mean, they are coming out. They don't, yeah, I have a theory about Durwood, but I would never, ever suggest anybody call the guy or show up at his home or threaten him or anything like that. So I don't know what's going on, but some of the locals there apparently are being inciting some threats with some of the family members. So that's what Brent is saying. That's opinion or his story or not information. I think he lives out east. I don't really know how close to that location, but so yeah, that's absolutely wrong. So nobody ever do that, please. And anything I may say, everybody is presumed to be innocent. This is just opinions. And mine is that those two parents show very much a lack of concern and grief, and they have both shown a lack of emotion and concern from the get-go. And yeah, violence is never right. Exactly. And that's the lesson I had to learn. Hard lesson is justice doesn't always have to be revenge in the way of justice, right? like a tit for tat, an eye for an eye is not, you know, is not the right way to go if you want to end the cycle, because the more you retaliate, then you've got karma returning to you. So in any case, whoever has these kids, took these kids, or whatever that was done to these kids, let's hope that that truth comes out and their karma happens in this lifetime. So let's listen in here. Shania speaks. I'm gonna start to do these myself. It takes a lot more time than I've had with everything going on recently to edit and stuff, but I'm going to be doing the pre-recorded videos. Will be myself putting things together like this, and I've already done a couple, so I think you know what I'm talking about. Just a voiceover compilation of various cases.
If she'd heard anything yet, did they find anything yet? And she said no. I said, who are the ones outside? And she told me that was Janie, Daniel's mom, and that was Justin, Daniel's brother. But I know she said who the other one was, and like I said, for some reason it's just gone. So I asked her, I said, what was the last time you seen the kids? Did you see them at all? And she said no, the last time she saw them was when she put them to bed Thursday night. I said, what time did they get up? She said between 8 and 8:30. She said, I heard them playing in the other room. She goes, and I kind of drifted off to sleep. She goes, but they must have got out of the door. And I said, that's the door right there. And she said, yes. And she opened and closed the door. It is a fairly quiet door. It's not a loud door, but I mean, it's a patio door. So unless you're kind of listening, you really don't hear patio doors open and close. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are going on about it, but you don't overly, unless your ears are tuned for it to know the doors opened up. As a parent, they should have been tuned in. Mm-hmm. So then I asked her what the kids were wearing, and she told me what they were wearing. And then I said, we're going to go search. I said, where do you think the kids went? And she said, I don't know. She said, I don't know what to do. I said, well, you're their mom. You know them more than anybody. When you have them outside playing, where do you think they would go, that they were curious and wanted to explore?
6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother vanished without a trace from Nova Scotia on May the 2nd, 2025. Now, if you've been following this case, then you know that the RCMP has been very tight-lipped about the investigation. However, Lily and Jack Sullivan paternal grandmother, Belinda, has been opening up and doing interviews about the relationship that she had with Lily and Jack Sullivan prior to them disappearing, and shedding more insight about her son, Cody, who is Lily and Jack Sullivan's biological father. Now, yesterday, she did an interview, and from this interview, there was a lot of information that was covered. Now, at various points throughout the interview, the line was cutting in and out. So I do want to make you guys aware of that. There is a little bit of interference on there, but the interview is definitely worth the listen. Belinda went on a YouTube channel, A Criming Shame, and this is the YouTube channel that she's also been sharing the text messages with, and she did validate that the text messages, as she did before, are the text messages that she sent, so they are authentic. Keep in mind.
So I don't know the answer to that, and I have no idea. I'm gonna go back, like I said, and get more details of what's being said. Was also said, I listened to a very short, brief moment of It's Criming Shame yesterday, and Durwood rather came on. I think it was yesterday. Durwood came on for a brief minute and said he just wanted to clear something up. He did call the RCMP. I heard it myself out of his own ears. Okay, he switched his story because I heard the changing story myself. Let me know if you've heard these two statements from Durwood. A few days back on It's a Criming Shame, he said he drove himself to some other precinct and gave a statement. And I came out publicly and said, well, I don't know that that's true. Let's just leave it with that. And then yesterday he showed up on It's a Criming Shame just very briefly, saying this was going to be about the last of what he wanted to say. It might have been the day before. I apologize if it's the day before, but I just heard him just by the, I just happened to pop in, heard the few minutes, and then he jumps on, and I really didn't listen much after that. So whether he came back or not, I don't know. But at the time, he said he just wanted to clear it up, that he called the RCMP, but they never called him back. So Durwood's story is flip-floppy at best. Durwood doesn't like psychics. Durwood's got an older mindset, out of date soul mindset around psychics. His story flip-flops. He's now apparently... No, Paula, I haven't. Thank you for reminding me of that. I'll put a star on this. Maybe I'll pull some cards in a few minutes, like at the end of this. We'll see. So I would just, I don't know what's going on with Durwood, but his story has changed a lot, in my opinion. I'm going to pull up this one. And then we're going to go and listen to a live on It's Crime and Shame. And we'll listen to that together. But this is a short video, and this was done by, what's the channel name? Oh man, it's not pulling up the way this video is coming up. Crime Stories, I think. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll tell you when I'm done.
Daniel exposes distressing truths about Malia's actions and their missing children.
Daniel, the father, the common law father, Malia's husband, baby daddy.
This is a clip of Dolly recanting when Durwood shows up on his channel.
Whatever
and
you want
Daniel
to call him.
and Daniel.
Stopped
Sorry.
by the channel last night for a little chat, and he dropped
Hello, my
some
dear. Hello.
bombshells. So if you haven't, go make sure you watch my video. It says to search for Jack and Lilly. Daniel stops by for a chat, and then you'll understand what we are talking about. Here is going to say everything that was said by Daniel, but let me give my warnings first.
And this is why and Dolly's going to give his warning. This is Daniel calling in. Why is Malia texting information to the woman, to her grandma? And why is the grandma sharing that with social media?
Why?
Now, somebody asked me.
Why would Belinda take all these texts that Malia confided in her with? I would hope Malia gave her permission to go and expose all those texts on It's Crime and Shame. Just saying.
Me that this morning. Why in the heck is Deb sharing information with you, Jay? And I say because they want a certain perspective out in the media. All right, Jennifer, thank you for being a member for 1 month. Catherine, thank you so much for the $5 super chat and saying great show. I didn't forget you guys. And Diamond will say, when the 99-cent super stickers come in, choo choo, that's telling you jump on that train. All right, you guys just hit that like button and we'll get 50 members. All right, BioDad has been gone for at least 2 years. We did an interview with his mom last episode.
First, Dolly Visions for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact. It's just our opinion, people. Completely satire. Now,
makes sense, and that's why there's something about that bothers me. There's something about that just bothers me. I don't know. I just don't like it.
Daniel came by last night and he said that Malia is on the run with Meadow, and he is really concerned about his daughter, that Malia has broke the CPS orders of to be supervised with the child when she left her mother's house. Now, where she has went, nobody seems to know. Now, there's been a lot of finger pointing back and forth between Malia's family and Daniel's family. But now it seems like Daniel is firing back a little bit, and he's pointing towards Malaya may know something in the disappearance.
I love Dolly Vision, but I love Dolly Vision for entertainment purposes. Just what he said. That's why I played that. Absolutely. But part of this case is involved with Daniel, and Daniel goes on there to talk trash about Malaya. Now, is she trying to get away from him? Is that what all this is for? Did she need to do that? Did something happen and they're pulling a hoax on all of this? The children are not alive anymore. All right. Yeah, I've been talking about a lot of sweaters. Is he really worried that he's going to get framed for this? What?
Of Jack and Lily. When he stopped by the channel last night, he said that he was in and out of consciousness by
Hit that like button, guys.
like 6:17, 16, 6:18.
That's another thing that has changed in Daniel's storyline. First, he said he was asleep and Malaya was asleep, and they both said it. And now Daniel's changing his story, saying that he was woken up when Malaya came back to bed. So which is it? Well, that's my theory. That is my theory. But, you know, we haven't heard, no pun intended, we haven't heard Jack about Janie. We haven't heard a thing about Janie.
In the morning, Malaya had done signed Jack and Lily out of school saying they were going to be absent. Now, he said he fell asleep for about 20 minutes and he woke up when Malaya was getting back in the bed. And then he said, "Hey, I don't hear the kids." And he got up to check on the kids and they were gone.
Now, I just had another stream of consciousness theory show up inside my brain. Can't take credit for it. It just popped in. And it makes complete sense. What if they both planned this story and they were going to stay together? I don't believe it. I'm throwing out there as a possible option based on the fact that they're turning against one another. They were potentially at first going to keep the same story. And then the police started talking and saying, hey, you know, whoever's first to speak, will give you the deal to turn on the other if you know something. I'm just saying, possibly. And I mean, it only took Malaya, 2 days, if this was the case, to change her, make her decision and change her profile. And now Daniel's finally wised up. And now he's defending himself and retaliating and throwing her under the bus. I don't know. It's just an option, because at first they had sort of the same story. There were a few little minor inconsistencies, but the general thought was the kids were out playing. They were both laying around in bed, kind of in and out of a daze, realized the kids were gone. Totally different to Malaya was like just getting back into bed and I was in and out of sleep. And she got back into bed, which woke me up. And then I noticed the kids weren't there. That's definitely I'm not responsible statement versus we were both in and out of consciousness, so to speak, in bed. So maybe it took Daniel a little longer to realize survival of the fittest here. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they both planned it? Or do you think my theory is they didn't know truly what happened at the beginning, which is why they also passed the polygraph, or at least we know Daniel claims he did, about not murdering the children, because they now have found out that they were taken. I don't know. Yeah, Karen Danielle, well, this is it. And there are rumors that the CPS was involved. And yeah, and which 100% do you think that they decided to turn on each other and now the stories are more survival of the fittest, or that my theory is Daniel's mom arranged it, which is plausible given they weren't Daniel's kids otherwise, whereas the third child, 2 out of 3 missing, is very unusual, especially when you consider the bio dad versus Daniel and whose kids are whose. And I think my opinion, just my opinion, is that fight we're going to listen to, that potentially happened was Malaya had been unhappy. I told the RCMP that, in my opinion. This is what I was getting in my vision. She was unhappy. There was a fight, and this is apparently now being validated. There was a fight. Now take it with a grain of salt, because that makes a lot of sense too. That take it with a grain of salt, but I wondering if Daniel's mom, Malaya, in my vision, had taken some money, which apparently is also now being validated, and the fight was over money. She took a little off the top from mom's business, if you know what I mean. And Daniel, totally naive, had no idea at the beginning. I believe that the kids were arranged to be taken as a threat to Malaya, who was talking too much, as in, like, shut your effing mouth, girl, or you'll never see your kids again. And then something spiraled from there. That's my theory. That's the exact theory I've given the RCMP. They've already searched. They've already done all the searching. But apparently, Janie, I don't know if it's true. It was just on the title of another video from whatever her name is. I'm sorry, Shinaka. I know Chrissy already said it, but I don't remember. I just put it up on the screen. I wasn't practicing it because the video was playing, so I really can't remember the pronunciation, so I'm sorry. But she just said, Shanaika Speaks, that in her title, rather, I didn't listen to the clip, but apparently Daniel's mom, Janie, refused the RCMP entry into her mobile home. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that falls in line with my theory if it's true, and which I told the RCMP several times already. So, I don't know. Let's listen to this, and then we're going to listen to It's a Crime and Shame for a longer video, and try to see if we can pick up anything new, in a new angle, a new theory. And maybe I'll do a reading on where the RCMP are at, because I'd like to know what they're doing with Derwood right now, if anything.
Okay, which is just mind blowing, because it sounds like he's suggesting that Malaya was awake when the kids went missing. Not only that, but he said when they got to fighting and the families got to fighting in the front yard, that, they were pointing the fingers and they were blaming.
Okay, so he's told 3 different stories. The first story was when they initially came out there, law enforcement. Second story, and yeah, of course it's not facts or evidence, but when you have 2 people that you're looking at, and I've always been looking at those 2 people, Daniel and Malaya, because they were the last person supposedly to see the children alive. When you take those, then you have to take what he's saying into account. Now, whether you take it into an account and you use it to arrest him or charge him with fabricating information, I now have counted 3 stories at the very least. And you're right, the more Daniel talks and the more people interject, the more confusing this case gets. All right? Don't forget, I think we have close to 400 likes. We do have 585 people still in chat. So just hit the like button and get a chance to win.
And Daniel for what Jack and Lilly going missing. And he said that he went to the command center, and while he was at the command center, Malaya went in and got some stuff, but she took 2 of his sweaters. Now, he said if they find a crime scene or Jack and Lilly, he's hoping that his sweaters are not there, that they might be planted at a crime scene, which I was like, wow, that's something we haven't heard. But he said that they took 2 sweaters.
Yep, that too.
He went into a lot of detail in this last video, and he was saying that he is going to get in trouble for the things he told me last night with the major crime unit, because some of this stuff they don't went out. But he said he called them and told them that Malaya has done took off with Meadow, and they didn't get directly back to him. Matter of fact, he said that.
All right. So the reason you ask, I see someone asking about the Darren hoaxer guy. That plays into this whole story, because if you believe the story that he's telling, that the kids are perfectly fine on the reservation, then they're perfectly fine. And Malaya,
I gotta say this. Derwood also said that they were in the United States. Maybe that's why Malaya showed a screenshot on Instagram to prove that she wasn't in the United States. Just a thought. Just a thought. But you can't be both in the United States and on the beach in Halifax with her friends, her local friends. So Derwood, not Daniel, rather, Derwood said that they were in the United States. And if Malaya was with them and spotted in the United States, she should do a lot of driving between the United States and Nova Scotia. Yeah, so New York's quite a ways from Nova Scotia. Not for me. I could be in Rochester in 3.5, 4 hours now that I've moved. Not so much for Nova Scotia. Add another 13 hours to that. Yeah, the more I think out loud, the more I just think Derwood is shooting bullets, blanks.
did this to get away from Daniel and to keep the kids safe. All right. Monique says, I've said all along, human trafficking is possible. The more this case continues, the more possibilities that they're out there. All right. Now, you guys, that's why we're covering this, to get these things straight in our heads and understand what
I had no idea she was Canadian. Wow. Interesting. Thank you.
leads are being called into the investigator and what they have to sort through. What we have to sort through, you think that's a headache? What about them? I feel like Daniel and Malaya are now doing this, and Malaya and Daniel are using social media to point their fingers at each other. Otherwise, how would Malaya's text messages from her paternal grandma and her aunt, how the frick did those get out there to crime and shame if they weren't pointing themselves, or unless somebody fabricated the text messages?
They haven't even called him back yet.
Sorry, this channel name is called Guilty of Crime. So we're going to finish this up for a few more minutes, and then we're going to It's Crime and Shame. I want to listen to that one in more detail.
As last night. Now, he believes that the CPS, when they find Meadow, are going to take Meadow away from Malaya, and he believes that Malaya may hurt herself if they take Meadow. Now, it sounds like he's saying that
No, that doesn't happen.
once Meadow was born, Malaya wasn't as close with the other kids anymore. So she kind of just loved Meadow. And he said that Meadow was her diamond, okay? Her diamond, that it seemed to be like she loved Meadow the most and had kind of put the other kids to the side.
That is also something new that Daniel never said before, and nor did he ever talk about the postpartum before. So I have to say, I just don't know that I trust what Daniel's saying. I think Daniel is spinning a story. You think so? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to believe as far as Daniel right now, I didn't sense he knew the truth at the beginning, but he knows now. But I find his behavior more suspicious now than ever. I don't know. He just seems to, yeah, maybe you're right, be spiraling.
Now, there was also some reports that came out about a pink blanket and a boot print that was found in the woods. And it was believed that Daniel had led the police to this boot print and this pink blanket. But he said in the chat last night that Malaya's family actually found this blanket and boot print And they
And I'm going to show you that article right after, because Daniel is absolutely, you guys talked about 15 minutes of fame earlier. Yes, he's enjoying the 15 minutes of fame, but why? Why point the finger at Malaya, and why would Malaya be now looking back? And what about those sweaters that he literally has one t-shirt? What about the sweaters? But he has Pokemon cards, DD. And we ask you, Daniel, if you want people to believe your story, don't call Dolly anymore on a live in the middle of the night. Reach out to Deception Detective. He'll be able to clear that. Did you play the audio of Daniel talking to Dolly, or did I miss it? No, it should be in this interview right here, or in this.
they led police to it. It is starting to get a whole lot strange. So I asked him what else was taken from the house, and he said the only thing Malaya wanted was the kids' birth certificates and a couple of stuffed animals. And he told me that those stuffed animals that she took belonged to Jack and Lilly, and that he believes that Jack and Lilly is still alive, and Malaya could have possibly handed these kids off to friends or family members. So it's still really important, guys, to continue to share these photos.
Okay. I got to talk about this. Daniel, let's just assume what you're saying is true. If you believed that, did you tell the RCMP that when they were searching with dogs, and all those searchers that you felt so bad for, who searched back in the dense bush getting ticks and bitten for 2 weeks? At what point did you come to the realization of this new story of yours? And did you notify the RCMP in the first day? Because your story about Malaya and planting your sweaters and all that, like, what the heck? I would wonder if the RCMP, if they knew that, would have put all of that resource and time into looking behind the house, Daniel. And if you really cared about these kids, like you said, then you would have told this line of thinking and knowledge to the RCMP. So I just am calling BS. I'm going to be polite and not swear today. I'm going to do the best I can and not swear. But Daniel, I call BS. BS, BS, BS. Don't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me.
And I'm not going to tell you everything because I want you guys to go back and watch my video. It's titled Breaking the Search for Jack.
Yeah, and if you guys like the content that I put out, and you like the content that DD puts out, and you like how we put the two together. Now, DD does these 10 to 12 to 15 minute, sometimes 30-minute clips. I like to incorporate them into an entire episode so that you guys can chat and get out what you want to say about these. Hit the like button. All right, hit the like button for DD, hit the like button for Guilty of Crime. Let me know. All right, kind of new here. Great work. Jules to Cali. I'm from Cali. Welcome. Welcome. Let's keep going.
Jack and Lilly. Daniel stops by for a chat. I'm going to tell you how he ends it. He says he talks in the chat room for hours, and he says the last thing he says is him and Meadow will visit Malaya in prison. Okay. So I know what you're thinking. Dolly, how do you know that this was Daniel? So when Daniel came into the chat room, as a YouTube creator, you have an option.
And I'm looking for that chat. I'm surprised he didn't incorporate the two. I have the other one.
Hey, everybody, if you haven't done the likey things, please do yourself a favor by getting this missing child's case of Jack and Lilly out there to as many people as possible. by clicking on the like button so that the YouTube algorithm picks it up. And if you like this channel, consider notifying yourself when the lives come on and all the videos are released by subscribing and clicking on the all button. It's totally free. Thank you for being here, everybody. Let's keep at it.
I have the other one, and we can, I'm certain he was in there for hours. So, but where was the point that he spoke? If somebody has that timestamp, let me know. I have the 55-minute video, but I'm not going to sit here for 55 minutes playing it.
To where you can click on the channel of the person that is in the chat.
Thank you,
Okay,
Ann.
it says, you know, like block them, make them a mod, go to their channel.
Thank
So
you,
I go
Wendy.
to his channel, and of course,
67 people
it's
here.
his channel. It's the channel that he used for the last. This channel is over 6 years old. Okay, he has videos on it from 5 years ago, and it's him where he's sharing
Nice.
his Pokemon cards. And for anybody that knows, this is his actual physical site.
Thank you.
So now, if it is not Daniel,
Thank you.
it is definitely somebody using Daniel's YouTube page, which I
Thank
truly
you.
believe it's Daniel, because
Yeah, he also gave him a wrench to make sure it's him. Now, just because it's him doesn't mean he's not lying. All right. I think Daniel and Malaya are pulling a fast one on us. And that's why we ask, is this a freaking hoax? What's the hoax? And where are the children? Are the children alive? Or did Malaya take off and now they're pointing fingers, and the children, they've got them to where they want and they're out of the country or on the reservation where they can't be touched?
yesterday we also got a call from some of Malaya's family. Okay, that because of the Malaya, and he told me that Malaya was on the run. She broke the CPS order. She left her mama's house and she's gone. Now, Daniel also said she don't need a passport because she's part of the First Nation and she can flee and be in the United States.
Okay, y'all. Let's play It's a Crime and Shame. I want to go to some of these texts. Let's listen in here. Let's listen in. It's a Crime and Shame's had all of the family members up and doing interviews. And let's just listen in. This was 6 days ago. I'm just getting caught up. So listen up to some of these comments being made and texts being shared between Daniel and Malaya.
All they want that could be a palace on the inside. It ain't. Okay. Belinda was inside of it, right? It ain't. Belinda is in shock about how Jack and Lily were, you know, and how Malaya was. And ever since she met Daniel, and seeing that they lived in this home was an utter shock to her. Right. And she found, of course, this out, like she said, someone sent it to her. And then she realizes that these are her grandchildren. This is the state of the place that they were living in. So I don't really know what Daniel means by taking her from a bad life to this great life. Don't know. I mean, if CPS was involved months prior as well, obviously something's going on there, correct? You know, whether it's they're missing a lot of school days, perhaps, who knows? Who knows what that situation is? Okay, so I'm gonna bring up these pictures. I just did it on one. So let me share the screen with you. So for anyone that's in a rush,
Whoops, this is a 4-hour video. We're not going to listen to all of it. I'm going to play, I don't know, half an hour or so, 45 minutes, and then call it a night because I'm just, you know, still got some grieving to do, y'all. So yeah, I feel bad for her too. She's putting a lot of the responsibility and the flyers and everything on her shoulders. And she hasn't seen the kids in 3 years, and now this. So she's probably got a lot of trauma. So yeah, we'll listen to a little bit more of this. And then tomorrow I'm going to do my best. I have to get the last of the things out of my old place. And at some point I have to pick up my dad's stuff. Tuesday's a holiday. It's Canada Day here, just much like your July 4th in the US. So just stay tuned and you'll know if I'm going live by subscribing and getting a notification by clicking on the all button. Okay. But I will be back for sure by Wednesday, tomorrow, hopefully, and Tuesday morning, potentially, before the day unravels. I'm trying to get the kids' plans, but you know, they're got kids of their own and in-laws and all the rest of it.
I guess I got to go to my Chrome. Jack and Lily. No, that's not the one. What did he do with it? Oh, this one? Ah, okay, this one. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let me make it bigger for you. Let me make it bigger for you. Okay, so these are text messages between Belinda and Malia. Okay, and this was just recent. You can see, well, it doesn't say the date there, but it was the past Thursday, okay? 7:25 a.m., and then it kind of flowed into Friday. So you can see Friday at 2:41 p.m., okay? So obviously you can see here where it says, do you believe in your heart that Daniel could have hurt them? And she says, Malia says, I don't know, but he's been acting suspicious and is too worried about what people think about him and not focus on my kids at all. Do you have to stop right there? Because that's almost, what do you want to call it? Priceless. So Daniel's too worried about what people think about him and not focus on my kids at all. Huh. Is that the pot calling the kettle black on that one? Because everything we have seen, like, I'm just being real here, right? But everything we have seen is not a mother screeching from the rooftops using her social media.
Agreed.
Or anything.
You,
he just vanished. So does she mean that the cops are doing the work and that she's trying to provide them information in the background? Because everything we've seen from Daniel, right? If we believe Daniel, he's the one out doing the interviews. He's the one that's talking and talking and talking. You know, so I kind of had a hard time when I read that line, because I'm not focused on my kids at all. Yeah, that's right. Your kids. Oh, right. Your kids, not his, but your kids, you know? So that's kind of like, right on that one. But anyways, everything he's doing is odd. And the police advised him to stay away from the social media and to stop contacting me. He also tried to steal money from my account through Temu, because my cards was attached to his account. So everything is not right. My main focus right now is to protect Meadow and find my kids. Then Belinda says, Daniel has been saying to YouTubers that he believes you have the kids taken that morning, and he woke up when you came to bed. And she said, let him say whatever he wants. I can't say anything to anyone anymore. And then it's, your lawyer can speak on your behalf. And she said, yes. So Daniel is putting all eyes on you. She said, seems like it, but I'm not following the media. And I've asked, where's the rest of it? And I've asked, I'm not sure where that part went. And I've asked, maybe I'm not showing a piece of it. I'll have to take a look in a minute. Anyways, that morning he woke up when you came to bed. Maybe I had them out of orders. Oh, maybe that's why. Okay, because this is over here. Your grandmother's, something about your grandmother's coven have been thinking the same thing. He too has been on social media. Who are you protecting Meadow from? And then she's like, oh my F, I can't even listen to that. I've heard all this. And then she said CPS. And seems like it, but I'm not. Okay, so I'm not. Did I have this out of order? My goodness. Not following the media, and I've asked people to respectfully not send me things, and if they feel like it is of concern, then send it to police. Good advice. And then she says, the truth always comes out. And then Belinda says, I'm not so sure anymore. Sad face. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm so behind on chat. You're gonna have to forgive me. Kind of hard to, like, usually if Charmaine or Kent's up here, I can kind of do things, you know. Right now, Ben thought Sunny said no live. Ben, come on now. Come on. Anyways, okay. I'm still scrolling down, guys. So at the end of the day, I find that so righteous that somebody is saying, meaning Malia, okay, is saying about he's caring what other people think. And his focus is not on my kids at all. I'm sorry, but that deserves like one of the biggest LOLs ever, to be honest with you. Joseph Morris is in the house. I've seen someone say, hey, Joseph, how are you? I know you're covering the case, and I know I haven't really been able to watch too much of you, just a little bit of you. But again, it takes all of us right, to bring awareness to the case. And, you know, like, I know he's Canadian, I'm Canadian, and stuff like that. And our hearts go out to the family members. So again, anything, nobody's been charged. Malaya hasn't, but I'll tell you one thing, and Daniel hasn't. I'll tell you one thing, both of them, they're full of shit, regardless. They're just absolutely full of shit. I don't know that they can stack shit that high, to be honest with you. But bottom line is, they're lying. The reason why this case is the way it is, because there's lying going on. So one of those two know the truth for sure. But either way, they're both lying about that morning. Now, in saying that, actually, let me just go back to your guys' comments. How are you guys feeling about
Whoops, I forgot to unmute. What do y'all think about these texts? I interpreted very differently than Malaya is being interpreted by Sunny here. Sunny's obviously entitled to her opinion. And I completely agree with the fact that, hey, Malaya, you aren't very much out in the public concerned about the kids either. But I think what Malaya is saying is Daniel being out in the public is a diversion and not out of true concern. That's what I pick up. What do you all pick up? I mean, neither one of them are exactly innocent here. What do you think of? Do you believe in your heart that Daniel could have hurt them? I don't know, but he has been acting suspicious and is too worried about what people think about him and not focused on my kids at all. Not focused on my kids at all. Everything he's doing is odd, and the police advised him to stay away from the media, to stop contacting me, and he's also tried to steal money from my account through Temu because my card was attached to his account. So everything is not right. My main focus right now is to protect Meadow and to find my kids Daniel has been saying to YouTubers that he believes you had the kids taken that morning and he's working when you came back to bed. And he was something when you came back to bed, sleeping. Let him say whatever he wants. I can't say anything to anyone anymore. Your lawyer can speak on your behalf. Yes. So Daniel is putting all eyes on you. Seems like it, but I'm not following the media. And I'm not following the media. And I've asked people to respectfully not send things to me. And if they feel it is of concern, to send it to the police. Good advice. The truth always comes out. I'm not so sure anymore. And Malaya says, oh my God, I can't. Oh my God, I can't even listen to that. I've heard all of this. So she says, that morning woke up when you came back to bed. Your grandmother's cousin has been thinking the same thing, that he too has been on social media. Who are you protecting Meadow from? CPS. So this is Durwood. Durwood, they're talking about your cousin, your grandmother's cousin. Oh my God, I've heard it all. Y'all, I just have to tell you, energetically, when I read this, I do not pick up baloney from Malaya. Y'all tap into the energy, those of you that want to, and tell me if you pick up lies from these texts from Malaya. I don't. I really don't. And I'm pretty good at energy for the most part. Can't always be right, but I don't feel like Malaya is lying. I feel she's saying, yeah, Daniel makes it look like he's looking for the children, but all this media stuff and point and blame on me is more about being concerned about looking innocent than actually looking for the kids. And that I do believe. I actually believe that.
it all on there? Actually, let me go to the thing as well. Okay, so 40% say no one seems to be truthful, right? Yet it helps paint a better idea. 37%. 11% says no, it's the same way we always felt anyways. Information was mostly from Daniel. 13%. You know, I mean, you guys know that, of course, Daniel was talking in Dolly's live a few days back, right? And he was talking about freaking 2 sweaters. If 2 sweaters go missing and they're found with the children, just know they were planted there, you know. And it just, you know, I passed the polygraph. big smirk, right? You see that big smug smirk come along him when he was like passing the polygraph test? I passed the polygraph test. See, I wasn't lying. Narcissist. Anyways, deem it however you like. At the end of the day, I know a lot of people, think that both of them are culpable of something. It's just speculation. That's all we got to go on. All we can do is bring you more insight to that day and the information. Thank Belinda, thank Daniel, thank Darren, thank Logan, anyone who's speaking out from family, regardless. It's up to you to believe what you want to deem true or not true. But these are true texts between the ones that we had between Daniel and Charmaine, the ones that we've shown you from Belinda to Malaya the day of May 2nd, right? These are all factual text messages. So, like I said, if they're going to say it, because they're both saying the truth's going to come out, really. Well, if you guys would stop lying, maybe the truth would come out, Daniel and Malaya. How about them bag of apples? Now, according to Darren, as of yesterday, he said he spoke to Cindy and that Malaya was back at home with her mother, Cindy. Again, that's his words, but he said that he spoke to Cindy.
I don't know, Delea. Daniel, Delea. That was an interesting Freudian slip of merging the two stories together. Delea, Malaya and Daniel. Wow. That literally just came out of my mouth, totally unsolicited. Delea. What the fuck is that about? Excuse my language. I said I wasn't going to swear. What the TF? Delea. There's got to be something. That was weird. That was weird. The way that came out. Delea. Y'all, I wanted to ask you, do you think I should pull some cards and see what's going on? Where the RCMP are at? Should I go get some cards? Yeah. A lot of delay. Yeah, let's pull some cards. Let me go get my cards. Give me a minute. I'm going to play this, let you listen.
Cindy and that Malaya is back at home. So we'll just take that again with the, the bag of salts that it is, because we got nothing besides word, right? But again, there's certain information that you trust depending on what the source is or where it's coming from, and you put more of a bigger grain of salt to that, right? On there, just hi, Citizen Sleuth, how are you? On there, and let me sorry guys, just scrolling here. So she's worried about posting that she's single and pissed about her Timo. Okay, right? Okay, I mean, seriously. I mean, the joke of this is that it's a joke. These are two beautiful children. Let's just take that back down again. This is two beautiful children that are missing. We don't know truly if this is a wicked game that's being played from, if anyone wants to believe like the Sloan Bella thing and what Darren's saying or not. If this is a wicked game, trust me, it would be the most beautiful wicked game they are playing if these two children are alive. Best outcome. I want it that way. I literally, come on, just admit to you're playing a fucking game. Tell us where the kids are. That's all we want to know. Are the kids alive and safe? That's all we want to know. We would literally rejoice, and be happier than pigs in mud, to be honest, if we heard that, wouldn't we? Versus what Belinda feels and what most people feel, a lot of people feel, is that the children are no longer with us because some nefarious, perhaps crime came against them. Bottom line, it's still a crime. There's still a crime going on here. But so it's just a matter of what you believe in all of this information. And that's for you guys to decide. We can only just bring you whatever comes out at the end of the day.
Right? Well, that's a perfect time to quit watching this one. We can only discuss what the cards are saying going forward from this moment on today. Tomorrow might be something different. But looking forward to being totally unpacked and set up so y'all don't have to look at the back of my bed frame. So let's see. Have not prepared for this. Also, I keep dreaming and getting visions of me on a card deck. I did the members live yesterday morning, or was it the day before? And I was wearing I did the live here, a black and white t-shirt striped this way. And then in my dream, I was shown myself wearing that t-shirt, pregnant like the Empress. I told you about getting the vision of the Emperor card with the Sun card sitting on the chair. And so I've decided that maybe finishing my true crime deck is worth it. Maybe that's the message. Go back to the true crime deck, Liane. Okay. Timeline issues. Let me start with a question. Talking and thinking about the case and the energy of the case, and there are timeline issues. I said that. What do y'all want to know? What's the first question? I know I love the headboard too. Y'all, I should show you. Got my dad's stuff in here. Well, all of this stuff is my dad's stuff because I was going to travel by RV and bought an RV before all this happened with my dad, and it just finished selling rather most of my own furniture, if y'all believe it. True story. But look at this painting. Oh, can you see on the wall from my dad? Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. We'll do a tour after. We'll do a tour after when I'm done. But yeah, my nightstands are like that antique. Well, let me show you. You want a little view? There's my, sorry, it's a mess because I'm still packing, but unpacking rather, the dresser. It's like all antique and white, and I love it. Okay. What do we want to know? Timeline issues. Okay. I want to know what the RCMP think about Durwood. Okay. Darren Durwood. What do the RCMP think about Durwood? Backstabbing, betrayal. What do the RCMP think about Durwood? The world. He's traveling. That's a travel card. The world. Wow. Wow. Yes, truth seeker. I think so. Hidden, being left out in the cold. Something about being left out in the cold. Hidden financial problems. Hidden, being left out in the cold. He's traveling because he's homeless. Backstabbing and betrayal. What do they know about Durwood? So that could also be his own story, that he's not working. He's not working. He's not working. So what they know about Durwood is he's not working. Something hidden about being left out in the cold. I'm going to need some clarifiers. We're going to get some clarifiers. The travel card and some sort of backstabbing and betrayal. Let's keep going. Not his idea, hidden idea, or not his inspired idea. It's either hidden or wasn't his. Let's get some clarifiers on this. Let's get some clarifiers. I got goosebumps, man. I'm going to get the pendulum out for whether Durwood is the guy. I think Durwood's the guy. This just flipped over. Key reveal. Give me more energy about with the police. Unseen and blindfolded. He's concealing who he truly is. He's concealing who he truly is. He's a support for somebody, some hidden support system for somebody. Some hidden support system for somebody. Okay, give me more about what the RCMP have on Durwood, please. What do the RCMP have on Durwood? Confirm. Confirm what? OMG. What do the RCMP have on Durwood? Oh, I got full on goosebumps. Confirmed devil. Oh my God. No. Because if I'm right, I think the kids are not alive. Bloodline. Bloodline. Somebody's the crown, the king princess. Who's this crown? Who is the head of this clan? Is Durwood the head of the clan? What else do the police know? What else do the police know on Durwood? Y'all. What else do the police know on Durwood? Not working collaboratively, or a hidden community, a hidden deceptive community to which he's the ringleader. I'm going to get validation. Some hidden community to which he's the ringleader. Oh my God. What do the RCMP know about Durwood, please? Judgment's coming for Durwood. Not working independently. Not working independently. Oh my God. Hidden offer. A hidden offer. Jesus. Okay, one more. What did the RCMP know about Durwood? What did the RCMP know about Durwood? Oh my God. Oh my God. I told them there was an underground, undercover, like business, rug business underground. That, remember the power lines? There's 180 cards in this deck. Oh my God. Is Durwood the rug leader? Is Durwood the rug leader? Is Durwood the rug leader? I gotta pull the pendulum. Sorry, I gotta flip all my cards back. They all just came flying out. Like they just all flew all over the place. So I'm just trying to straighten them around. Is Durwood the rug leader? Is Durwood the rug leader? Is Durwood the rug leader? Because that makes sense. That makes sense. If Malaya, oh, I got goosebumps. If Malaya took from the top, Durwood was the one she took from. Oh my God. You got goosebumps too, Wendy? Oh my God. The RCMP I have told the RCMP everything I have just said. So now I want to validate, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay. Let me please first. Oh, I didn't bring my sage in. They've been in a bag. I just haven't saged them so recently. So is everything I just said about the cards an accurate interpretation of what the RCMP believe regarding Durwood or Darren Geddes? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Is my name Bob? Is Durwood the king of the drug business? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. That's exactly right, Truth Seeker. That's exactly right. Wow. That's exactly what I said. Why would somebody, in Durwood's own words, do what he exactly said he did, which was allow somebody to eavesdrop on purpose to make sure that Malaya got the message, and then she takes off and steals Meadow? Yeah. I set her up out of his own mouth. Out of his own mouth. Doesn't sound like a concerned family member looking for those kids, does it? Does it to you? Make that make sense. Make that one make sense. Wow, y'all. Are the police close to like finding the kids? Where are the police at with finding Jack and Lilly? Eight of Swords. Somebody's can't sleep at night. Very distressed. The Emperor. Somebody's not sleeping. A man. Some man. Can't sleep at night. Who's this Emperor, please? Who's this Emperor, please? This would be Daniel. Daniel can't sleep at night. Stressed out. Can't sleep at night. Carrying a heavy burden. Carrying a heavy burden. Daniel, do you know what really happened here? Daniel, do you know the story? Does Daniel know this to be true? Does Daniel know this to be true? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Does Daniel know this to be true? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Yes, he does. Has he told the police the truth? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. No, he hasn't. He has not told the police. Yes, Paula. Janie is who I thought until now. We're going to clarify that. I thought Janie was the one that pulled in Durwood. Now I'm not so sure Durwood didn't act alone. Remember, they all did it on their own. And I was like, really? There's a huge emphasis on their own. Like, I didn't pull the strings for the plan of attack. I didn't come up with the plan to threaten Malaya not to talk about the family rug business and steal money from us. I just had somebody take the kids to scare her, but then the police were searching out back way sooner than we thought, and everything unraveled, quote unquote. I'm paraphrasing Durwood. So who's the ringleader? I'm going to do Durwood, Janie. Durwood, Janie. Who's the ringleader, Spirit? Durwood acted independently. Durwood got the independent card. Get Janie. Oh, I could have been wrong. Janie's got working with others. He's working independently. She's working with others. Okay, that unravels a whole other storyline. Hey, Chris, welcome in. Say hi to all our mods, please. I don't know if Kitty is still here and Hope Votes is still here, but Chris and Whispering Winds Donna, and if Hope and Kitty are still here, please thank them all. They're wonderful mods, and especially with yours truly, because you never know when I'm going to go live or if I'm going to do tarot or not. I kind of go with what I feel like. So I thought Daniel's mom, Janie, was the one that coordinated it. But I'm getting this. He did it. He independently did it. She absolutely is working with Darren, in my opinion. And that's where this collaborative piece goes. But as far as, thanks, Chris. Keep you on your damn toes. You'll have to go back and rewind it to the beginning where I give you an update. Put it on the edge of my seat, says when I give it 2 speed. Okay. He acted independently. Okay, out comes the hidden moon, illusions and stories with the law for Durwood. Illusions, lies, and stories with the law for Durwood. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Janie, what's Janie's involvement in this? I thought Janie was the truth. I thought, yeah, Janie's also in reverse, hiding deception. Does Janie have knowledge around the King of Cups, around, I want to say Daniel. Okay, I'm not sure about Janie yet, but I got for Durwood, acting independently, hidden illusions and lies, and to the law, around the law. Okay. Is this accurate? An accurate interpretation of Durwood? Did Durwood act independently in threatening by taking Malaya, by taking Jack and Lily? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Whew. Absolutely, Anne. So yes, that's a validation. Y'all have seen me be wrong. Y'all have seen me do this and get a no and then go back and do the reading again, right? So y'all, okay. I'm just blown away that Tower card showed up for them. Okay, now we got Janie. This came in reverse. A hidden collaboration, a hidden business, a hidden something. Okay. Hidden deception and betrayal around Daniel. Did Janie hide the truth from Daniel? That's what it is. Did Janie hide the truth from Daniel? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Did Janie hide the truth from Daniel? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Yes, she did. Was it Janie's idea to take Jack and Lily? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? I think no now. Suddenly I'm changing. Now that these cards have said that, was it her idea? Yes or no? No, but it would have been their family money that they would have owed Durwood. Now, does this make sense? If Malaya skimmed off the top and Derwood was the leader, I've got full on goosebumps. Full on, like you can't see my hair standing up, but like full on goosebumps. Then Derwood would have said, I'm taking those kids as collateral until you return my goods. And then it went potentially, allegedly. That's what the cards are saying. I thought Mom called Derwood, but that's, to me, more like Derwood's the leader. Derwood is the leader. Wow, wow, wow. Derwood's the leader in this. Not to the benefit of my ego. Is this true or not? Is this yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Is this what happened? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Is this what's happened to Jack and Lilly? Is my name Bob? Is this what's happened to Jack and Lilly? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Are Jack and Lilly still alive? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Are Jack and Lilly still alive? Oh my God, no. No, 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 no. So far, I was right, except I reversed Derwood and Janie's roles. Derwood is here, Janie's here. I thought it was the other way around. It's Derwood, Janie. So if Malaya, which by her own admission has come out, they had a fight involving the money, right? And I told the rcmp this, y'all. I told them this on the May 8th. I've spoken to them a handful of times now. I can't remember, 6, whatever. No more than 10, more than 5-ish, maybe 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there. And I've sent to emails of all of this, except that I said Janie was here, Derwood, and it's this. Wow. I've asked Kelly in an email if he'd come on with us to discuss this case. He hasn't responded to that yet. He responded to the remote viewing one, but not that one. So yet I'm like, and then Daniel's coming out validating everything Derwood's saying. Why? Malaya, we just read her text going, yeah, I don't even want to hear about it. And Daniel's coming out and validating everything Derwood's saying. I think it's weird that Janie wouldn't let the rcmp in her camper, and they spoke with Derwood about this, and he says because she didn't want her dog to bite them, they asked him about Daniel's brother's dog. Yeah, right. We didn't want the dogs to bite them. Yeah. 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 He skipped the question. I don't know what that means. That explains Derwood's losing his family and being on the run because Daniel is scared for Meadow. Well, somebody pointed out, they said there was in that interview, he said the family of 7. I didn't realize that he had his other children living with him and they went back to Nova Scotia. So that would have meant he was referring to Malaya, Jack, Lilly, Meadow, himself, and his 2 kids being the trailer of 7. But at the same token, where's his mom and brother? We haven't heard boo from them. These kids disappeared from their property. Silence. Now, I do get they're not the biological, but I mean, I guess that comes down to whether you think family is family that you lived with for the last 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, or family is biological, but you haven't seen in 3 years. Like, they're awfully quiet. That's my point. They're awfully quiet. Yeah. So this whole thing is a wild story. And I hope that this doesn't go on. forever and ever. I'm going to do one more poll, Appa, where the RCMP are at with this investigation now with respect to making arrests, finding Jack and Lilly. I'm really hoping I'm wrong, that they are still alive. I know, I saw that, Anne, overlooking the lake. And then the next day he's homeless, but he has an old debilitated barn he still owns. Go camp out there. Like, the story's like very all over the place. All over the place. You know. Well, no, I don't think Durwood's the man in my vision. I think the man in my vision was the truck person or the person that took them off the property and delivered them to Durwood. You know, out of Durwood's own mouth. They took them, and then the RCMP came in and all hell broke loose. My vision was them being walked to Uncle Larry's barn. I think Durwood's the barn, Uncle Larry. And I say that because I told the RCMP this in the last conversation I had, and he asked me for specific details about it because I had already told him my first vision was grease all over the hands. And you're right by saying that would therefore be Durwood. But Spirit shows us things, and that's where our interpretation of the visions is so important, because that you would think that would be Durwood. But if Durwood looks like his profile, that ain't Durwood. That guy took them to Uncle Larry Durwood, if that makes sense. However, I was shown mechanics grease everywhere over that man's hand. And I said to the RCMP, this man works on vehicles, on toys behind a barn, or something, is a mechanic by trade. Guaranteed there's grease all over him. He's dirty. He works with vehicles, hands down, 100%. So that was on the person I saw walking Jack and Lilly. So yes, it can be confusing, and to assume that was Durwood in the vision, yes, but I do believe that was just a signal for me as a representation of what later came out of Durwood's old mouth, y'all. Did you hear it? I told the RCMP, I just learned my dad died the day before. I was moving. I was up till 3:00 in the morning. I had no sleep. I'm at my daughter's house because I don't want to be alone. And I finally laid down on bed at night, and I put my earbud in, and I start to listen to It's a Crime and Shame. And all I hear is Durwood say, when I came out from around my barn playing on my toys. I'm like, the mechanic coming out from the barn. Because when I told the RCMP officer about that vision, he said, was it a real barn or a fictitious one? I said, which was interesting because it led me to believe he'd worked with a psychic before, or knew that the symbols and visions we get are not necessarily like factual, but are a representation of something. And that really was interesting that he went there with me about was it a fictitious barn or real? And I said, I don't know. And then I'm listening to Derwin's own words say, he walked out from behind his barn working on his tools. I'm in the dark. I got my headset on, and all that came over my entire body. I got goosebumps right now. Was I'm listening to a murderer. I full body goosebumps right now. Down my legs, my arms. You can't see. Full body goosebumps. And I said, I realized I said I thought they were alive before. I'm not so sure anymore. I think that the initial plan, if I'm right, was to threaten Malaya and take them. And then the police got involved and they didn't get their money back. And maybe they were taken somewhere else. Hence the barn to the barn. I don't know. That I have not confirmed. That's just my intuition piecing it together, but I've yet to confirm that by way of vision or cards, but that's what I'm piecing together. The way I work with true crime is the very same as the police. You get a tidbit of information, you get a bit of information, you get a bit of information, you get a bit of information. And say this puzzle has 2,500 pieces to it. When you get all 2,500 pieces, you figure out and you put the puzzle together. But if you've misinterpreted the meaning of that puzzle, the shape of that puzzle is inconsistent now with what it needs to be to fit that puzzle. And so it doesn't fit. So I just have to validate all the pieces of information that I get and make sure that I'm interpreting them. And then you cross-reference them and see when they come together to pull a theory together. Does this make sense? Very much the same way the police do it. They just do it with search warrants, you know, phones, digital ID, emails, you know, DNA, lie detector tests, interviews, whatever else they've got, following bank accounts and money and everything else. I just get my bits of information differently, whether it's a vision, tarot, channeling somebody. It's just a different way of getting the intel. And it basically, other than that, the way I work it is the same way, is I get pieces of information that I need to interpret. So they get information. Janie sends Durwood $1,000, just say. Well, what does that mean? What was that for? They'd have to further investigate to figure out what that money was for. Same thing with my vision. Okay, I see a man walking Jack and Lilly. What's that? You know, am I interpreting that the same? So that's the same way I work. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So let's do the last reading about where they're at now. I don't know. I'm behind in the comments, so I'm not going to try to respond because I don't know what we're talking about in the chat. So I'm so sorry. So I just want to know if the police are close and someone's coming in. Someone's coming in. Who's coming in? Who's coming in? Not my dad, because I don't feel it in the chest. I don't know if it's Sebastian yet. Who's coming in? I don't know. Okay, no, not Sebastian. It is my dad. Okay, he's settled into my chest. Okay, thanks, Dad. Whew. Okay, wow. My dad just said you're spot on. Okay. Okay, now I'm dizzy. Sorry. Ooh, Dad, you're getting good at this so fast. Okay. Somebody's not going to get their wish fulfilled. Okay. I want to know, could we find the barn and what it is on Google Earth? Truth Seeker. I'm not so sure it's not the one across the street. Wouldn't be surprised if their bodies were there, but yes. Let me pull out. Let me just do this first. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I'll meditate and I'll do more on location. Let's see where the RCMP are at, because apparently Sloan Bella said that they were going to be a big announcement in the case today. Okay, somebody's not getting their wish, and that's the Daniels card. Give me more on what the RCMP are doing right now and where they are at as far as the case goes. Where are the RCMP at with respect to Jack and Lilly and finding them in the case goes? Not hidden justice, hidden. Wow. Hidden justice, not getting justice. They're not getting clearer. What the TF? No. Okay, I need a clarifier on this hidden justice, not getting justice. Where are the RCMP at? Where are the RCMP at? Hidden fights and conflicts around the king and queen, Malaya and Daniel. So far, they're looking at hidden conflicts between Malaya and Daniel. Where are they at with making arrests with Durwood? Where are they at with Durwood? Where are the RCMP at with Durwood? I'm going to pull these ones back in case they want to come back out. Where are the RCMP at with their investigation of Durwood, please? This one flew out. Inverted lovers. Unsuccessful death. What does that mean? Hidden lovers. Where the RCMP are at with Durwood. Unsuccessful death. Have they hit a dead end with Durwood? Have they hit a dead end with Durwood? Have the RCMP hit a dead end with Durwood? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Have the RCMP hit a dead end with Durwood? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Have the RCMP hit a dead end with Durwood? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Is my name Bob? Have the RCMP hit a dead end with Durwood? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Yes. Do they believe Durwood's story? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Do they believe Durwood's story? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? No. Have they located Durwood yet? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Have they located Durwood yet? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? No. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Kim French. Thank you. I wish I could jump into a pool, a cesspool of truth. Oh my God. This is what I'm getting, y'all. I don't think I'm far off. I've been saying the same thing. Y'all, how many times was I so confused over Sebastian? I don't feel like I'm really off in this one. I just don't. And I can be truthful when I feel like I'm completely lost. I don't feel that right now. But man, did the RCMP need help finding Durwood? Because they should be just calling Sonny. Did the RCMP need help finding Durwood? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Yes. Did the RCMP want to talk to Durwood? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? Yes. Is my name Bob? Did the RCMP want to talk to Durwood? Yes or no? Is my name Bob? Do the RCMP know where Durwood is? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? No. See, it started over. Did the RCMP, is my name Liane? Did the RCMP know where Durwood is? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego? No. Oh my God. Donna, can we do that tomorrow? It's 7 o'clock and I'm going to head out if that's okay. I also want to, well, tomorrow I got a big day. Like I said, I got to finish getting everything out of my other place. It's the last day. I took a few days to take a break from it. And if I have time, will pick up my dad's stuff from the care home because it's right there, around 10 minutes from, well, same community I lived in. Just takes 10 minutes to get there with traffic, but I will do the best to be here tomorrow. And the next day is Canada Day, so I'm going to do the best I can to be here the next 2 days. I wanted to start a new case, which I put up for, what's her name? Oh my God, I already forgot her name. The woman that faked her own kidnapping, potentially, and do a reading on that. But we'll continue with Jack and Lilly. If I'm not able to get on tomorrow or Tuesday, Canada Day, but the only way you're going to know is to click on the notification bell. Because if I can, I will be here both days. If I can, I repeat, if I can, and I'm not feeling sad, I will be here both days. And by the way, y'all helped me today. So thank you for being friends and showing up and listening and talking with me, because y'all are helping me get through this with my dad right now too. I don't feel alone when I'm on here, and I feel like I'm in a group of friends. Yes, Sherry Papini. Thank you, Chris. And the other case that y'all wanted me to look into, Crystal Rogers, I looked into it, but the court case is already going. And I don't think I'm going to have time to do the live court case on that one. So we can continue to follow it. But thank you, Wendy. Thank you, sweetie. And I am still trying to get Kelly on to talk to us about Jack and Lilly. He's just got so much going on. I also have a case to work on for the Find Me group. I haven't even started on, and it's due on Tuesday. So I've got a busy day tomorrow. So I'm going to do the best I can. Okay. So put the notification bells on. And if I'm not here, it'll be Wednesday. Absolutely no guarantee. No doubt about it. Guaranteed. Tuesday's Canada Day. So if I'm here, it'll probably be in the morning before we start our family day, which I don't know what we're doing yet. Yes. Thank you, Kitty. That was the one. Let me take a picture because I looked for that yesterday and I couldn't find it. Yeah, so click on the notification bell. If I can, I will absolutely be here tomorrow. And if it's Tuesday from here for Canada, it'd be definitely in the morning because probably going to do fireworks at my daughter's place. We're just going to probably have a barbecue and a bonfire or whatever. We'll see. Love and light, everybody. And members, I'm coming. I was going to start the psychic blueprint, but it makes sense to me to do the remote viewing in the article that Kelly sent and the one that I found, as well as a video I want you to see about a woman that worked for the FBI as a psychic for 30 years or 27 years or some crazy thing, and how she trained with them in intelligence for the National Defense. Was it the National Defense or FBI? I can't remember. Anyways, it's a whole interview that I think you'd all find fascinating. Also saw an interview with Deepak Chopra this morning that you might want to listen to. Remember I told you I saw him in person like 12, 15 years ago in my city, and he was talking about how our molecules all spin and matter and all that. So there's stuff we might want to do, but I want to get that 30-day blueprint in. So the Deepak one will save, but I might do two or three more on remote viewing, just so we start the psychic blueprint fresh for July, Anyway, hope that makes sense. Love and light. See y'all in the next day, tomorrow or Tuesday. If not, definitely Wednesday. Thank you for being here. It really helped me. I hope I helped you enjoying part of your evening being in this wonderful community of ours. Love and light.